New York and on the new Hot 97 app. Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
Ebro in the morning, Laura Styles. Give it up for Lee Adams one time. Vice,
Thanks
Minority Reports. You're here. I thought you were coming because I was a part of an episode.
You are.
But I thought I was like the only episode. Like, I was like a one of one.
No, it's a whole series.
See? Damn.
So what episode was Ebro in?
Yeah,
So
what did
Ebro
I do
is.
again? Tell me.
You're in the season premiere of season 2, which is about.
Oh, at least I got a premiere.
Yeah. Headline.
Okay.
Which is about Asian rappers and how hip hop is going to treat these new faces that are coming into the space.
And so, did I say anything smart?
You said a lot of smart
I can
things.
fuck things up.
Yeah,
for
no,
sure.
you said a lot of smart things.
Good.
I mean, a lot of the conversations that we were having and the larger cultural conversations we were looking to spark with this episode had to do with, use of the N-word in rap music by Asian rappers, cultural responsibility in as far as appropriation or really telling your own story. Because as a lot of us know, at rap's core, it is often, are you living out what you're rapping about?
That's right.
Right.
Authenticity.
Right.
Exactly.
So has this aired yet?
No, it's gonna be live later today. It comes out like at noon
so
on
if
YouTube.
I fucked up and you're lying to me, I'm gonna see it on social media.
That's right.
What time does it premiere?
It'll come out at noon on YouTube and Vice.com. And it's like everywhere, available to everybody.
Now,
Amazing.
what were some of your more popular episodes from season 1?
The most popular one that went like low-key viral was about a white student at an HBCU. And the experience.
I think I saw clips of this. It went viral. People took clips,
It was about, the experience of being what they call a non-traditional student at a school that was created as a safe space within academia for Black students to learn about themselves and to be physically safe.
And also because you couldn't get in other institutions.
Historically, we were kept out of other academic institutions. So, there was a necessity for these schools. And a lot of them now are looking to sustain themselves with the recruitment of, students who can pay the full tuition line that don't require as much help as some Black students do.
And what was the student's experience? Like, what did you get from this episode?
So there are a lot of different opinions when it comes to the idea of white students going to Black schools. Some people, are fine with it. Others are much more protective of these institutions. And he felt that, his name is Tiago, and Tiago feels totally welcomed, and his friends appreciate him being there.
And where's he from?
He's from Miami. He grew up in Miami.
I thought maybe he was from Brazil or something.
No. I think his parents named him after a restaurant that they really liked.
Okay.
But yeah, he's, just a regular old white kid from Miami.
Did he have friends that went to the school that he went to?
So he was actually introduced to Morehouse by some older Morehouse men that were in his life that just inspired him. And he went on several trips to see the school. And when he got there, he ran to be president of his dorm. He's a student ambassador. He gives tours.
Yeah, so tight.
Yeah. So, I mean, he was really into
for
it.
him, man.
Yeah.
And the people who don't like Tiago going to Morehouse, what types of people we talking about?
Some are students. Some are educators. Others are just people from the community that feel that, parents that feel that they set these schools up for their children to receive a very special kind of experience because college is 4 years of your life. And specifically when it comes to a Black school, this is a very short window that can be a reprieve from dealing with a world that seeks to rob you of your agency every single day as a person of color in America.
Okay, I see both sides.
Yeah, I can see both sides.
I see both sides. I see where people could be upset, but I also see where this is an awesome experience for him, and I think
Totally.
and a progressive experience for him too.
Because one thing that's said in the doc that I found particularly insightful is that, Morehouse is culturing Tiago in so many different ways.
Right.
And arming him with the tools that he needs to go into parts of society that you or I couldn't necessarily walk into and initiate change in ways that we might not be able to.
Right, and that's why I said it's progressive, because there is a piece of this that is like, learning and understanding different cultural groups is one of the biggest problems that we have, not even just as a society, as a world.
Sure.
Right? The idea of going into someone else's and experiencing it through someone else's lens and learning about what they're going through and trying and attempting. Even though Tiago's going to walk out of Morehouse, he's still going to be a white man, and he's going to have a lot of passes and be able to have what's it called, privilege.
Yeah.
But at least he had this experience to understand the dynamics of not only black people, but I guess one of the things that's frustrating with me all the time is this assumption that black people are only one way.
Monolith.
A monolith, right. So, Lee Adams, Minority Report. So I had a good episode, which is going to air today, you say. We'll see what kind of social media backlash
There's
I
another
get.
one you read that I'm curious about, because there's one called the world's most controversial K-pop group.
That's right.
Because it's an
majority white, all-American K-pop group. So there are 3 fully white dudes and 1 half white, half Japanese guy who moved to Seoul to, pursue K-pop.
Korean pop.
Yeah.
And so by definition, Korean popular music,
Yeah.
K-pop,
Sure.
it's just that. It's just popular music in Korea. There's
Yeah.
no...
It's when you ask
It's
people
not
there,
Korean cultural music. It's
Right.
just
pop music
Do they
sung
sing in Korean?
Yeah, they
sometimes
sing.
and English.
So this group, they sing in Korean, and like their earlier songs, a lot of Korean people would say that their accents weren't very good. Their pronunciation was a little bit off, so the music sounded kind of weird. But they've like been there, they've been working, they've been trying to get on these like Korean variety shows to really, chase after this goal of being a legitimate, quote unquote,
So
K-pop group.
they're not popular yet.
They're not like superstars by any stretch, but they definitely have like a fan following.
Do they have a hit song on the radio yet?
They do have songs on the radio. Yeah, you can go to like cafes there and like
And hear them.
internet
what's their
bars,
name?
and you'll hear their song. Their name is EXP Edition.
They love some letters in K-pop.
Yeah, they love some letters.
EXP,
BTS.
BT, they love a letter.
Yeah.
Yo, letter situation. Acronyms
cool,
big
man.
in K-pop.
Yeah.
And so you have an upcoming episode that I'm really interested in because black professional bull riders.
Yeah.
Now, there's, professional black bull riders and black cowboys I don't think ever really get the celebration they deserve.
Sure.
And I've recently was flipping through channels. I think it was ESPN, and they had bull riding on, and I noticed that like in this particular, competition, the top 5 slots were all Brazilian, and they started showing them, and they were black dudes from Brazil. This person is American or Brazilian?
They're all American.
This is all American.
So in that episode, we follow the career of 2 professional bull riders. One of them, his name is Neil Holmes. He's now retired, but he was retiring at the time in Houston at his hometown rodeo, at the Houston Rodeo. And Neil was the only black bull rider in the top 100 of the PBR at the time of his retirement. And so when he was leaving, that space was just going to go away. There wasn't anyone stepping up to take his spot.
And how was he received by the audience? The assumption is clearly when it comes to cowboys, bull riding, and that whole world is that it's racist and Southern and Confederate. That's the assumption.
Sure. And we talk about that. And he tells us about, not even just stepping into rodeos, but stepping into towns where you're the only person that looks like you there.
Wow.
But, overwhelmingly, I would say that the bull riding community likes to support their own because they realize bull riders.
Other bull riders, yeah.
Because they know that it's dangerous. You could die, you could lose your life doing this sport. And the thing that was really important to us in telling this story was to make sure that we don't overlook how race still shapes the way that they approach this sport and the way that they kind of navigate these areas that they're riding bulls in.
For example?
Neil tells us about he's been at bars and he's gotten into fights because somebody would come up to him and say, what are you doing?
Here.
Well, it was like because he was a nigga with a cowboy hat on. Like they would say this to him. What are you doing? Wear that? You know what I mean? Like, and these types of microaggressions and overt actions definitely take a toll on you when you're, traveling constantly, risking your life and limbs, riding these bulls. Ezekiel Mitchell is another up-and-coming star in the PBR, and we followed him as well. And he was telling us sometimes people won't give you a re-ride because judges don't want to see you They don't want to see you winning these competitions. Stock contractors, when you climb on top of a bull, somebody owns that animal, and they get paid for these bulls being in these competitions. So they want to make sure that they care more about that animal's life than yours.
Wow.
That's ill. That's ill. So when's that episode come on?
That's out. You can watch that right now, yeah.
I need to get up on this show,
That's
man.
season one, HBCU episode, Black Bull Riders,
the K-pop.
K-pop group. That's out on YouTube right now. You can check those all out.
And what, you created this show? Like, how did Minority Reports come about?
So originally it was just going to be this one doc about Tiago. And we didn't know it was going to be about Tiago. Somebody just came to me and was like, hey, I'm writing this story about white students at black colleges. Do you think we can make a video component to it? And then I connected with Tiago because my brother went to Morehouse, and I have a lot of friends who went to Morehouse. And one of my brother's friends still works there. He connected me with Tiago. We made this, and my EP's advice were like, why don't we make a whole series about minorities and representation and starting these larger, cultural conversations by exploring what it's like to be a minority in a place you may not expect to find one.
Can you give us a few teasers on what you're covering in season 2?
Season 2 is going to be Asian rappers, and we hang out with Rich Brian, the rapper formerly known as Rich Chiga, the Higher Brothers, which is a 4-man rap group from China. They're all signed to 88 Rising, and then this kid named Stupid Young, who's a Crip from Long Beach. He's Asian as well. We have an episode about Latino Muslims because within the Muslim community, the fastest growing demographic is among Spanish-speaking Latino converts.
Wow. And where do they live? We
filmed that in Houston. So that's where the first Spanish mosque is. The first Islam and Spanish center in America is in Houston.
Wow, that's dope.
And then the last episode, which I think is going to be the best one, is about young black conservatives. So Candace Owens is in that. We went to D.C. I was in the White House with Donald Trump.
Oh, you were up there for the Black Day?
I was there, yeah.
Oh, boy.
The only person we didn't get in there was Kanye West.
He didn't want to be on camera.
He didn't answer our phone calls. But yeah, it's that one's crazy.
Well, Kanye West has since distanced himself from
No,
politics.
he's back.
Yeah,
You saw
he's back.
his Twitter rant right after the New Year. Yeah.
Oh, no, I did come back to Twitter, and I was like, yo, I came back to Twitter for this bullshit.
Oh, he's back.
He's back.
He's right back.
So he has since been okay with being used for political gain.
Sure. He
Yes,
put the MAGA hat right back on.
He's saying he's wearing the MAGA hat at all his
Every show now.
performances. Interesting.
Wow.
I'm just trying
people
to-
really ignored
2019, we
Kanye.
shall
Yeah.
I'm
see.
proud of people, man. I didn't even hear that part.
Yeah.
Laura's been doing great. You didn't hit me to that.
Yeah.
We feel like it's still a troll. It's still a marketing play, right?
I don't know if it is, but I'm just not interested. I feel like I don't want to give it any more light. I'm done.
I feel that.
Yeah.
What'd you learn from the black conservatives?
I would say the number one thing that I came away with is like, we all have a civic duty to vote. And it's our responsibility to hold our government accountable and to make to make our voices heard via voting, right? And I don't believe it's like a good thing to chastise someone for the way that they vote. Sure, we can like check each other and challenge each other,
Right.
but as long as you're voting, people have always voted against their best interests. So using language that is divisive or attacking people for their political beliefs is never going to yield an outcome where you're going to change their mind. All it's going to do is cause them to dig their heels in the sand. Mm-hmm. That's my personal opinion.
Well, no, but what did you learn from being there? Did you get any insight into why they feel the way they feel? Were they all?
So
Or were a lot of them Democrats before, or
all of them almost.
So
Almost.
what was it about Trump that led them there?
So many of them actually. So it was 50% Trump and 50% there is some disillusionment with the Democratic Party. Many people feel that Barack Obama did not deliver on the things that he promised when they elected him to office. And if you look at the numbers, less and less black people identified as Democrats during his second term, surprisingly enough. Not a lot, but enough. And what I would say is like, hearing from them, they want economic empowerment and they feel that like Republican ideals are going to yield that. And a lot of the values that a lot of black people in this country are raised with are actually conservative. Strong family values, church values, those are conservative values.
It's just when you get to the alignment with white supremacists and
How do you
racists,
reconcile that?
Right.
How do you
that's the piece.
stomach that?
And it's always interesting because I see where most black conservatives I know choose to ignore that because there's obviously racists who are Democrats also.
Totally.
It's just that they're not open about it. They're not as overt. They code themselves as liberal. We talk about that in New York State specifically in this racist-ass public school system in New York City and how, you know, we have one of the most segregated school systems in the most liberal, quote-unquote, right?
Most
so are you really
city,
not racist? Or you're just not racist the same way that a Confederate state racist is racist?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's very interesting because, you know, I don't disagree with people who choose to be conservative. I disagree with Donald Trump.
That's how I feel too.
You know what I mean? I don't disagree with Republicans. I'm not a registered Democrat. I'm a registered independent. And there's been black Republicans. I mean, black
Since forever.
conservatives
As long as people have been able to
vote. It's not a new
vote.
concept. So I'm offended actually by the Candy Jacksons and the Donald Trumps who run out here and act like all black people are Democrats.
Right.
That actually offends me more.
Right.
Because now you're just treating people like they're stupid.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's another thing that you'll hear is that a lot of them believe their vote was taken for granted as a Democrat.
I believe that that's true too.
Yeah.
I believe that that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
You know, but black conservatives, black Republicans, libertarians, independents, been forever.
Yeah.
Forever
Since
and
forever.
ever. Well, that's going to be an exciting episode, man. Shout to you. Lee Adams, Vice, Minority Reports. Go look for it. It's on the internet. It's on the channel.
It's on YouTube. It's on Vice.com. You can Google it. You'll find it.
And you're going to be doing this for a while. It's having success.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully
Yeah,
we'll
if
get
you guys
season
keep
3.
watching it, we'll keep making them.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Lee Adams, man. Appreciate you.
Yay,
Thank you,
Lee.
guys.
One
I
time.
appreciate it.
Minority Reports.